Welcome back to the Cyber Show, brought to you by ThreatAdvice. I'm Ben.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And today on the show we have our cyber news roundup, followed by some excellent remote work security tips, then cybersecurity by the numbers, and finally double extortion. So stick around till the end. But Elizabeth, take it away.
Absolutely. For our first story, we have Tesco, a major British grocery chain, who shut down for 2 days due to yet another cyber attack. Sadly, this isn't their first attack. They've had another one in 2014 and one in 2016. Luckily, no user data was compromised. It only prevented customers from modifying or placing orders on its website and mobile app. But it will cost them a fortune, considering they get up to 1.3 million orders a week. We can see a major shift from in-store to online shopping, and COVID especially accelerated this transition, which left room for vulnerabilities. Again, no one is safe from these cyber incidents, not even the food industry.
Now for some good news. Law enforcement is cracking down on REvil ransomware in a big way. And just as a refresher, this is a really prolific ransomware cartel that's responsible for, just this year, the devastating attacks on software company Kaseya and the meat supplier JBS. Now, first, in a joint operation, the U.S. and a number of other international law enforcement agencies breached the servers used by REvil to disrupt their operations, to force them offline, and shut them down. Now, police have announced that 7 people tied to ransomware groups REvil and GandCrab were arrested this year, and 3 of those arrests were just this week in Romania and Kuwait. REvil and GandCrab are believed to be operated by the same individuals, and what they do is they offer ransomware code for criminals to rent. So this is ransomware as a service. That's their model. So Europol says that the suspects arrested have used that ransomware code to demand more than $230 million from about 7,000 victims in total. The arrests are part of an international investigation from 17 countries that work together in an operation dubbed Gold Dust.
For our last story today, we have Dubai, who suffered another cyber attack on every gas station. And its only purpose, and I quote, is to get people angry by creating disorder and disruption. What happened is that government-issued cards used to subsidize fuel were disabled and instead displayed a message that read, "Cyber attack 64411." which can be linked to a previous attack to Iran's railroad system back in July that had that same exact message. It is believed that anti-Iranian forces are responsible for this attack. Now Iran stations have begun fueling again. However, there are lines of up to 90 cars at a time, and they're having to pay unsubsidized prices. We can see how these kinds of attacks are affecting civilians and are only happening more and more on a regular basis.
And that is the cyber news for this week. Stick around.
Remote work, or some version of it, is here to stay. Here are 5 ways to make remote working more secure. Number 1, don't leave cybersecurity up to your employees. Help set up secure Wi-Fi networks and implement multi-factor authentication. Number 2, be prepared for people to use their own stuff. Set up a mobile device policy and explain why certain security actions are necessary to protect your company. Number 3, practice zero trust. Be more willing to block things that you might not have been as cautious about in the past. Explain why the cost of a breach greatly outweighs the cost of security measures. Number 4, consider them all public. Family members, roommates, even kids are all potential accidental or real security risks. So set up automatic lock screens or consider virtual desktops for your employees. And number 5, educate. People will always be your weakest security link. Continuous education is key to remote cybersecurity.
This is Cyber by the Numbers. 1,000. That is the amount of schools that have been disrupted by a cyber attack this year alone in the United States.
250,000 is the number of cybersecurity jobs that Microsoft just launched a national campaign to fill in the United States by 2025. 1/3 of cybersecurity jobs are currently unfilled, which is about 500,000 jobs, and Microsoft plans to have that in just 4 years.
70% of passwords for home Wi-Fi networks are terrible. One researcher was able to crack more than 2/3 of the networks he tested. Please don't use default passwords.
150 arrests across 12 countries was the result of a 10-month investigation following the closure of Dark Market, which was the dark web's largest illegal marketplace that boasted 500,000 users and over 320,000 transactions before it was shut down earlier this year.
And that's cyber by the numbers.
According to the FBI, a new type of ransomware tactic is on the rise: double extortion. Here's how it works. It's no longer just about encrypting all your data and locking you out. Now, ransomware attackers target companies just before or during mergers and acquisitions so they can encrypt your data and threaten to leak sensitive financial information and harm your company's stock price unless the ransom is paid. Time-sensitive financial events then have become a new attraction for ransomware attacks, since these increase the pressure for companies to pay the ransom and avoid the fallout. So if you have one of those events on the horizon, be on guard. But that's all we've got for today's Cyber Show.